Why is it that some of the most brilliant people in history seem to actively avoid the crowd? Einstein famously said he was a horse for a single harness. Newton spent years in isolation producing his greatest discoveries. Tesla rarely left his laboratory. Yet modern society keeps telling us that introversion is a flaw, something to be fixed or overcome. But what if it isn't a flaw at all? What if your preference for solitude is actually a sign of something much deeper happening inside your mind? I want to warn you right now. Some of what you're about to hear might completely change the way you think about yourself. If you've ever felt like parties drain you, like small talk is intellectual torture, or like you do your best thinking when nobody else is around, there is actual hard science behind why that happens. We are going to explore the powerful, evidence-backed reasons why the most intelligent minds don't just tolerate solitude, they require it. Reason 1. The deliberate conservation of cognitive energy. The first and maybe most critical reason high IQ individuals prefer solitude comes down to neural architecture. Highly intelligent people tend to have what researchers call faster neural transmission speeds. Think of it like the difference between dial-up internet and fiber optic broadband. Because your brain is processing the world at this speed, you experience something called translation fatigue. Have you ever been in a conversation and felt like you were constantly holding back, filtering your thoughts just to make them socially acceptable? The gap between your complex inner world and a normal conversation is enormous. Navigating that gap takes immense energy. Solitude is the only place where you don't have to translate, simplify, or edit yourself. It's an act of cognitive conservation. Reason 2. A defense against chronic overstimulation. For many highly intelligent people, it's as if they perceive the world in a higher resolution. You don't just see the picture, you see the patterns, the inconsistencies, and the hidden data streams. When your brain is already operating at full capacity, processing the world internally, adding the layer of a crowded room or social performance becomes genuinely taxing. Research shows that intelligent minds have a different baseline for stimulation. Shallow, repetitive social interactions fall flat almost immediately, leading to a state of cognitive overload. Solitude offers a sanctuary from this onslaught. It's a quiet, controlled environment where the fire hose of external data is finally turned off, allowing your nervous system to reset. Reason 3. Triggering the default mode network. When you sit in silence, your brain isn't actually resting. Solitude activates a specific neurological architecture called the default mode network. This is the part of your brain that lights up when you're daydreaming, reflecting, and thinking about complex, abstract problems. In people with high cognitive ability, this network is particularly robust. When you are physically alone and socially disengaged, your default mode network goes into overdrive in the best possible way. You are running simulations, connecting dots nobody else sees, and entering a flow state. Flow is the psychological state of complete absorption in a challenging activity, and it is almost exclusively a solitary experience. For a high IQ mind, accessing this state isn't just pleasant, it's psychologically essential. A common misconception is that intelligent people who prefer solitude are antisocial. The reality is that they are selectively social. They don't want less connection, they want different connection. For a high IQ mind, an interaction is only truly fulfilling if it's intellectually stimulating. An evening of surface-level small talk or office gossip feels like eating food with zero nutritional value. It fills the calendar but leaves you intellectually starved. This explains why many intelligent people make a completely rational calculation to prioritize depth over breadth. One person who truly understands how your mind works is worth more than 20 acquaintances who just know your name. If this exploration of the intelligent mind is validating your own experience, consider liking this video and subscribing to our channel. Reason 5. A brain that gets happier with fewer friends. This may sound counterintuitive, but for some of the most intelligent people, happiness is actually inversely correlated with the frequency of their social interactions. Groundbreaking research by evolutionary psychologists introduced the savanna theory of happiness. Evolution wired the human brain to thrive in tight-knit, hunter-gatherer tribes where frequent social contact meant survival. However, researchers found that more intelligent individuals are better equipped to handle situations outside of our ancestral programming. In a massive 2016 study, they found that while most people are happier the more they socialize, Highly intelligent individuals actually experienced lower life satisfaction with highly frequent socialization. Smarter people are better adapted to pursue long-term, self-directed goals on their own, making constant social support less critical and sometimes even a distraction to their well-being. So, if you recognize yourself in this, the first thing to do is give yourself permission to be exactly who you are. Your preference for solitude isn't a wound, it isn't a social failure, and it isn't antisocial behavior dressed up in fancy language. It is the adaptive strategy of a mind wired for depth, focus, and authenticity. You conserve your mental energy for what truly matters. You protect yourself from the overstimulation of a chaotic world. The world may label you as withdrawn, but your solitude isn't an escape from the world. It's a deeper engagement with it on your own terms. The most intelligent thing you can do is listen to what your mind needs.